Tom was just sitting on the bed, back up against the wall with sleeping Kieran in his lap, as he focused on the light coming in the tall, narrow window. "Just look at the bright parts. There is nothing else in here," he repeated to himself, as his eyes snapped to a quick-moving shadow on the far wall, the unmistakable feeling of being watched weighing heavier on him than he could ever remember. He flinched once more as he heard the creak of the door handle, followed by the slight groan of wooden hinges as he stared at the very slowly opening door. "Fuck. I really am starting to see shit," he cursed to himself as he just kept staring, his sleep-deprived brain debating on if this was real or not. Then the bright white head of Jackie stuck itself around the corner, staring at him silently. "What are you doing, Jackie?" "I wanted to know if you were sleeping," she replied, sounding a little guilty. He just let out a sigh as he started petting Kieran again. "Little guy is." "I see. Put him aside. All clear. Jelena is in the library." "Right, that. Yes. Didn't forget, I promise." "I've only been gone half an hour at most." I know. It's a little hard to keep track right now." "Sorry. Paulina went with Fengi out to a drill after breakfast too, by the way." "Wow. We might have some actual privacy then," Tom half sarcastically, as he delicately started moving Kieran off onto the actual bed. "Yep, Dakota is already down there and Anouk is awake. Come on now," Jackie went, still in a hushed tone as she opened the door fully and walked over to the bed. I'm coming, Tom protested as he got off the bed. "Can you walk?" "I'm tired, and maybe a bit delusional, but I can walk." "You sure?" "Yes, Jackie, I am sure," Tom grumbled, getting off the bed and cursing himself as he stumbled just a little bit, Jackie moving to catch him, only a glare from him. "See, I can in fact stand up." "Hey, just making sure here." Thanks," Tom reluctantly whispered. Jackie, though, didn't seem to mind his grumpiness, moving to the door and sticking her head outside, checking for people, he assumed. "God damn it, I'm tired," he let out with a yawn, flinching at the sound of running footsteps from the corridor. He just stared at the door to see if anyone was actually coming this time, Jackie tilting her head and looking at him. "Everything all right?" After a second's wait, the sound vanished with no one sticking their head inside or coming into view. Yeah. Just hearing things, that is all." "Right. Well, the coast should be clear. Off we go," Jackie let out, taking his hand and delicately dragging him towards the door. He followed, groggily dragging his feet out into the familiar hallway and turning right towards the stairs. He glanced left, feeling uneasy like someone was watching him once more. He was greeted by a dark hallway, unable to see the end of it. There was no denying that the floor and walls were changing as they entered the darkness. They were turning sandy, the walls made of the oh-so-familiar yellow clay or mud. Jackie?" he let out in a careful tone, swallowing once. "What is it?" she asked, clearly confused, looking back at him with a head tilt. "You don't see anything strange down there, do you? Right?" "It's just an empty hallway. What's wrong?" Jackie replied, promptly throwing a glance down said hallway. "Oh, nothing," Tom went, looking at the floor, which definitely transitioned to sand just before the darkness. "Let's not go that way." "Okay. You sure you're okay?" "No, I'm pretty sure I'm not. Let's get downstairs. I want to talk with Lancaster as well. I am definitely seeing things." "You got it." Tom elected not to let go of her hand as he was dragged towards the stairs, checking over his shoulder a few times as they walked to see if the darkness was following. Much to his relief, it didn't seem to be, as they started going down the stairs. Then he felt a hand try and grab his foot. A wet, cold hand. He tried to yank his foot away, looking down and seeing a blackened draconic hand reaching for his other foot, slick black ichor dripping off of it. Not thinking, he jumped away from it, right into Jackie, who was just turning around to see what he was doing. "What the... Tom?" she let out, as she did her best to catch herself, skidding a few steps down the stairs before regaining balance. "What the hell?" "Sorry," was all he could let out, slightly ashamed as he looked down at his leg, the black mark already gone. "The fuck are you seeing, man? That ain't normal." Tom didn't really want to answer that one, not in private, so he leaned in to whisper to her. Darkling that tried to grab my leg felt cold, wet and sticky, and I heard it screech. "That's messed up, man. Wait, didn't you just show her things from home?" Jackie replied, if not quite whispering, then at least keeping her voice down. "Yup," he agreed with a quiet nod, "which means I'm seeing more than just the fight." "You're still sure I can't just smack her head off?" "Jackie!" "What? I hate that bitch," Jackie protested, as she started carrying him down the stairs. Tom wasn't really sure if he wanted off right now. It would be pretty damn embarrassing to be carried around like a scared kid. And none of it was real after all. Jackie, could you maybe put me down? And have you tried to knock the both of us down the stairs again? No chance. But shut it! Jackie cut him off, as she walked past the library where Tom was quite sure the Inquisitor was. Think, you idiot, think. This is embarrassing. Right, I'm sleeping. Perfect. No, you retard, you can't close your eyes. God damn it, he cursed to himself, as he glanced back, seeing the corridor dimming behind them. A pair of red glowing eyes peered out from the encroaching darkness. You aren't real. You are not here, Tom just thought to himself, staring at the eyes as they tilted to the side, a bit of hideous cruel laughter filling the air loud enough that he clutched his ears to no effect. Oh, please make an end, he all but whimpered, feeling Jackie pick up the pace. What is it this time? Just a dark night following us, I think, Tom replied, trying to close his eyes for a second, opening them to said dark night standing like a stiff puppet in full view. The darkness lifted as it raised its arm, pointing at them once more and laughing almost maniacally, before Jackie rushed down the stairs. The second he could not see it anymore, the laughing ceased. Tom looked around frantically for any sign of what might be next. In the grand hall sat some of Baron's contingent, all of them turning to stare as Jackie jogged by with him. He just didn't pay them any mind. A bit late to do anything about it either way now. Calm down, retard. Just mind magic missing shit. That's all. Just stick your tongue out to the next one or something, he tried to himself, letting out a slight chuckle at the joke. Please don't start babbling in Danish or something. I don't understand, Jackie pleaded, just a hint of fear shining through her voice too, as Tom just gave her a hug. I'm fine. None of it is real, and I have to be so tired by now. The Inquisitor had indeed gotten to work on the books. It was abundantly clear from working with her that she was more than used to long hours and little sleep, much to Sapphire's dismay. She guessed this probably wasn't the first time Jelena was working right after being inside someone else's mind either, even if the strain was showing every now and again. Of course, the problem was that Jelena couldn't read anything the book said, nor did Saf and Apuma know what everything meant, even after translating it to the best of their ability. Luckily for them, Linkostra had come back to help after a few hours, stating Nanook was sleeping soundly, which had been a rare thing for the last several weeks. It was no surprise to Saf that the bookworm had in fact already been through a few of the books they were reading, and as such proved very useful for trying to explain some of what Sapphire and Apuma could not. As time went on, Saf found herself just sitting there more and more, which, if she was honest, wasn't that bad at all. Glaz, for her part, seemed utterly uninterested in what was being said, and instead focused entirely on them and the Inquisitor as she stood guard, unmoving. Their little session was eventually interrupted by Edita, sticking her head in the door, looking around after having been allowed to enter. I require assistance, Inquisitor. With what? Jelena replied, looking up from the book, clearly trying to hide some annoyance. I cannot operate his thinking machine. You got out his computer? Saf questioned. He showed it to me yesterday. I wanted to learn more. I can't find the books he showed me on it. I would like an assistant. I believe Sapphire knows. Jelena just turned to look at Saf with an expectant expression. Right, Saf let out, doing a bit of thinking herself. I mean, I have used it a bit before. Essie might be a better choice, though. Esmeralda is tending to the children. They need playtime, she said. Go with her, will you, Sapphire? I believe we will manage without you for now, Jelena added, not taking her gaze off Saf. Of course, she replied, trying her best to put on a genuine smile. I'll help out. Very good. I will send for you if we need you here. And Edita, do try to remember where any books of note may be found on the machine. I may wish to study them later. Of course, Inquisitor. Thank you, Edita let out excitedly, clearly not needing help with managing a genuine smile right now, unlike the rest of them. Follow me, Sapphire. Predictably enough, Edita had taken Saf to the workshop where she had the machine sitting on a workbench, plugged into the solar charger which was hanging out the window. I wanted to find what he based that thing on and see how much inventing he did, as opposed to simply repurposing, she opened, pointing at the lathe before sitting down in front of the computer. I think he drew that up on paper by hand. Yes, but he said he didn't invent all this. They must have some truly impressive things where he's from, I bet. I want to see them. Right, I don't know where that might be. There has to be so many things on that computer. No, we'll work it out, Edita replied as she tapped away on the keyboard. The buttons are so strange. How did you spell it? L-A-T-H-E, Sapphire went helpfully. Edita consulted her notebook lying on the table next to the laptop, where she had noted down the letters and their names. I don't see anything with that name. What does that say? Program. It says the same thing there, but with X86 afterward, Saf said, pointing at the screen. What does that mean? I think it's like plan or something. You know, as in planning something. Well, that sounds interesting. Adita went clicking it. Right, what have we got? Well, that says Windows, and that says Little Soft. What is this? It says Windows Defender there. Think it's window bars or something. Maybe shutters? I wonder if they make different glass than we do. Adita went, clicking the name, which just resulted in another list of even more strange names. I don't see any drawings or pictures. Are you sure we should be doing this? We might break something. But we are just looking for its memory. But what if this is more like its brain? Why would there be windows in its brain? I don't know. It might mean something else for all I know, Saf protested, shrugging. I can show you where the movies are at. Adita just turned to look at Saf, not seeming quite convinced. But I want to know what he used to design the lathe. I need to know how he made it. Well, you can talk with me and Shiva about that. We also have the drawings on paper. But I want to understand this thing too. Right. Tell you what, there was a movie where it shows some factories full of machines. I remember he was showing Tink. I'll try and find that. Then I can go and ask Tom if he knows where he might have something about lathes at. Isn't he staying in his room? I'm not allowed to go in there now. I'm sure he'll be happy to see me. Here, let me. Saf went, leaning in and starting to click through folders. She remembered where the movies were after sitting with Essie, as the older woman had showed off the impressive machine and what she had learnt about it while she was sick. No, I want to do it. What do I press? Adita protested, putting her hands in the way. Right, so you go to Files, that's the one on the left with the F, then that one with an M as the first letter. Okay, this is so exciting, I need to learn this language. You were the one that wanted to see the computer first. I offered. I know, but this is too exciting. We have many exciting things. Tell you what, I'll check if maybe he has a book with the machines in it. You'll love that, and we can practice English at the same time. For now, just watch the movie. Okay. Would you show me the movie? There are 2 M ones. Adita replied, a little slight-earedly. Right, yes, of course. Saf tried in her friendliest tone. Going to find it for her. Thank you. Saf, did I make him mad with all the questions? Jackie seemed mad, Adita asked, looking up at Saf, seeming rather worried. No, just tired. He's been answering questions every day for half a year. I'm fairly sure he enjoys being the smart one, but everyone gets tired out eventually. After what Jelena did, he'll need some time. Quite a bit, I fear. Okay. I'll do my best to learn so I don't have to ask so much then, Adita replied, a little slack-eared, looking back at the screen. I think he'll appreciate that. Ooh, I see. It's a bunch of little things about how stuff is made. I don't know what half of it is, though. It shows you how it's made? Yes, I want to see that. I'm working on it. Do you just want to start at one end and work your way through? Sure, I want to see everything. You got it, Saf replied with a sigh of relief. That should keep her entertained for quite a while. Maybe I can just sit here and watch. That doesn't sound too bad. Yep, I am doing precisely that. Well, now they're in the infirmary with Dakota and Nanook, just as planned. Tom was a little worried someone from Baron's crew might have followed them down through the Grand Hall to listen in. He was at least not feeling like someone was watching him without knowing it at the moment. Mainly because the effects seemingly weren't limited to Darklings and war. He was, in fact, currently staring at a rather attractive human woman who looked ready for a trip to the beach. He had definitely seen her somewhere before, but he just could not remember where. She was currently standing behind Dakota like nothing was out of the ordinary, and listening in on the conversation, though not saying a word, even if her mouth moved at times. I think he's full on losing it, Jackie declared, after a few seconds of awkward silence. I am not. I'm just seeing and hearing things. And feeling. And feeling, Tom related with a grumble, averting his gaze a little from the nice-looking woman. What do you mean? How exactly? Dakota questioned in an authoritative tone, though her face betrayed she was a little confused, looking back once at where Tom had been staring. Some weird Dark Knight puppet-looking thing tried to grab my foot. It was all cold and slimy and left a black spot on my foot. I blinked and it was gone, see? Tom went, lifting up his trouser leg to reveal nothing out of the ordinary. That is no laughing matter, Tom, Dakota replied in a very worried tone, looking to her bedridden mother, who was lying on her belly in the cot and looking at them. No, it is not. Jelena claimed this would recede, but you are claiming this is getting worse? Well, it's only been a day, Tom defended, as he went back to staring at the woman. She had freckles and long, flowing red hair. She was very pretty. He wasn't seeing things like this in the morning, only when he shut his eyes, Jackie clarified, also throwing Tom a confused glance as he kept staring. Is this true, Tom? Dakota tried once more, glancing behind her. Is something behind me? Yeah, he replied reluctantly. Been hearing things all the while. When I shut my eyes, I could see things from what she showed me yesterday. Now it's all the time, and there is currently a human standing behind you. I don't know who they are. Don't worry, they aren't there. I see, Dakota replied cautiously, as she studied the area behind her more closely. So, it's not just nightmarish apparitions? The Nook questioned, sounding like that at least wasn't terrible news. It would seem so, yeah. But this is definitely the first case. So, it is getting worse, the Nook sighed, looking to Dakota. I will have to discuss this with the Inquisitor. She is the only person here who might know if this is worthy of concern. The gilded Huntress replied with a prompt nod. She will just say what she thinks makes us do what she wants, the Nook interjected. Pay extra attention to her demeanour. If this is truly a worry, it will show there when you tell her. She must be tired. I will do so, Mother, Dakota replied with a slight bow towards the aging lady. I think she will just try to get back into his head if we ask her like that, Jackie grumped, crossing her arms. Tom was inclined to believe her in this one too. Then we will make clear that is off the table. Yes, that is why we're here, actually, Tom interjected. We were talking about how to get her to not be such a difficult person to work with. I commend the effort, the Nook added, rather dispassionately. It would be easier if she were not the nearest expert on what to do about this. Or we could wait and see. Maybe she is still right that it will fade away. It may be necessary for her to intervene, the Nook admitted, clearly reluctant to say it. If she broke anything in his mind, how will we fix such damage? What if she just causes more damage? He is not a dragonette. Or even worse, she doesn't even try, Dakota countered, arms crossed. I would not put it past her. Essie said she needs Tom, Jackie interrupted, in a hopefully but clearly not happy tone. Tom guessed she wanted to agree with Dakota here. He honestly wasn't sure right now, because this is trippy as hell. Because all the things she's bringing here are worth, a lot, and probably not allowed to be here. Girls? Would you let me try something? What is it, Tom? The Nook asked in a caring tone, looking up at him. I want to see if I can touch them. They are just standing there. The three women exchanged some glances for a bit before Dakota spoke up. Why exactly? Just want to know if it feels different, or if I can even feel them. That sounds like a bad idea, Jackie protested. Tom nodding a little. Maybe, but I want to know if I can tell the difference. He didn't wait for a reply, instead walking past Dakota up to the woman, and putting a hand on her shoulder, which went straight through like she wasn't even there. Huh, I guess not. You really are messed up, dude, Jackie added, grabbing him by the shoulders and pulling him back in. What do we do? We wanted to talk about how to make Jelena not be a bitch straight for one, but now... Please tell me we don't need her. Dakota, I want you to have that chat with the Inquisitor. As few as possible to start with. Let her know. If she doesn't already, she will soon enough. Yes, Mother, Dakota replied with a prompt nod, before throwing a side glance at Tom, who was still trying to touch the woman. His hand just went through her, but she seemed perfectly solid, and he couldn't see his hand through her either. Okay, this is sort of funny. I wonder if this is what it is like being on LSD. Is this like a bad trip or something? We need to do something about that, Dakota continued, nodding at Tom. He was doing better than this until we left the bedroom, Jackie added, in a mix of confusion and worry. Then take him back there and see if it helps. Can do, Jackie went with a nod, as Tom felt her start to drag him off. What if I just need to think happy thoughts? You need sleep, my dude. You are starting to sound drunk. No, really, I think it could work. Okay. Think happy thoughts then. We'll be going, she went with a quick nod to Dakota and a Nook. I'll stay with him. Godspeed, Dakota sighed, looking at Tom with a perplexed and rather pissed expression. Tom wasn't quite sure if she was mad at him or not, but this was so surreal. Jackie had borderline dragged him out of the infirmary and back up towards their room. There were not actually any darklings or dark nights waiting for him around the corners. Instead, they encountered a flock of kids, who managed to perfectly fool Tom until they ran through him and down the stairs, playing some sort of game. Huh. I really thought they were here. Well, it has certainly been educational watching some of those videos. And it did answer some questions as to just how Tom's people had so many things, and such big things for that matter. Most of it was not even made by people. Adita had been beside herself throughout much of it, to Sapphire's relief. As they were watching, Tink and Junior had popped in to ask a question about some of the new equipment, and you get dragged into watching the movies. When they found one about what the humans called a foundry, Saph had gone to fetch Shiva too. It was all quite enjoyable, really, but when Adita discovered how to go frame by frame through the videos, Saph had called it quits as it all turned into a documenting exercise. It was getting rather late anyway, so she decided to go check up on Tom and Jackie, and then maybe go help out with dinner or something. Couldn't hurt to check up on how they were doing. She knocked on the door before slowly prying it open, being quite surprised by what she saw. On the bed sat Tom and Jackie. Jackie held him tight from behind like she was scared he would run away. He was in turn staring at the far wall, talking away in his gibberish language. Essie stood by the side of the bed, Kieran sitting on Tom's lap, looking up at the human. Jackie and Essie both looked over as Saph opened the door. Both simply stared at her. Her best guess was they had no clue what to do right now. Jackie glanced back and forth between Tom and Saph, looking torn on if she should speak or not. Saph for her part just stood there, staring worriedly for a few seconds, thinking that it was a mistake coming here. Jackie turned to Tom and broke the awkwardness. "Look, Tom, it's Saph. She's come to say hi." This finally got Tom's attention, as he turned to look at Saph with a genuinely happy smile, giving her a wave. "Oh, hello. Just having a chat with my dad. Haven't seen him in decades. This mind stuff is trippy as all hell." "Your what?" "My dad. I know he's not really here, but still, it's amazing. There were two Jackies before." "And you couldn't tell who was me?" Jackalope grumped. Essie looking a little ashamed. "How could I tell the difference? I made up the other one." "I still don't get how that works." "The one you made up was Essie." "What the fuck?" Saph let out, staring at the two of them. "Oh yeah. Apparently I'm losing my ability to distinguish what's real and what's memories. A bit like dreaming while awake. Jelena came up to try and check me out after Dakota told her it was getting worse." "That's bad. That's quite bad, right?" Saph questioned, turning to Jackie worriedly. "How should I know? All that damn woman said was, 'Interesting. I will have to consult someone,' then she fucked off." "Consult who?" "Well, shock of shocks, Essie thinks she has something like our earrings, so she can talk with, well, someone." "Right. She could have mentioned that." "Oh, I'm sure she has plenty more surprises," Tom chuckled, going back to chatting away in Danish. Saph's mind flashed back to the device Glass had almost using Jackie in the library. "Probably. Still, would it be nice to tell us we could talk with the capital?" "I don't think it is the capital," Essie added in. "Or if it is, then it is probably not just her mother or something of the like." I get it. Can we talk about why Tom is sitting there talking to thin air?" Essie cut Saph off, shushing her with her finger. "It is very important he believes it is real, else his mind just fills in the blanks." No, I think I've got this now, I think," Tom interrupted, looking at Saph with a big dumb grin on his face, before looking back to the far wall. "Ain't that right, Dad?" "Essie, would you mind?" Saph asked, giving a sideways nod towards the door. The older Huntress obliged, following Saph out of the room and shutting the door behind them. "Okay, that's fucked up. What the hell do we do?" Essie eyed down both sides of the hallway, before leaning in for a whisper. "I have one idea." "Please don't say trust the Inquisitor right now. That woman is single-minded as all hell." "Fengi." "You're shitting me, right?" Saph replied with a nervous chuckle. "Right? No. He has some control over what he sees. Maybe Fengi telling him to not see imaginary things would work. Do we even know how her magic really works now?" "She's an enchantress, right? The whole thing with a drill didn't change that. Even if it works, it would only be for a little bit." "Damn it, you're right. It may be better than nothing. Perhaps he could at least get a bit of sleep." "But Fengi has gone out to be with a drill." "Then we get her back for this evening, Saph. Come on now." Right. Then they heard crying coming from inside the room. Human crying. Essie swung open the door in a hurry, revealing Tom sitting and bawling in Jackie's arms, as she tried to shush him back down again. "What happened?" Essie was quick to ask, rushing to the bedside. "His dad got an illness that made him forget, then he died." "Oh no," Essie all but whimpered, going to give the crying human an almost motherly-looking hug. "It's okay. It isn't real." Tom, for his part, just kept crying. Saph guessing the poor guy was probably so sleep-deprived by now, he was barely functioning as is. "I think I'll go fetch Fengi. Dinner shouldn't be too long now either." Essie just looked back at her and nodded her consent. "Go. We'll handle this." "If you say so," Saph just agreed, backing out of the room, and debating on whether she should go out to the greeting hall or up the tower. I think tower. No need for more questions.